This month, as I've been speaking on peace, my intention is to talk about what that means to be that peace, to live that peace, to share that peace. Obviously, our world can use a little bit of that at the moment, and so can we, because what we're feeling and seeing is that chaos and that uncertainty that is appearing around us. And it seems like we're getting not so good news every single day. We aren't, but it feels like it. So as I'm working with Chopra's book, that Peace is the Way, it is basically a guide to all of that, how we can be, how we can live, and how we can share that peace in our everyday life, with the intention of sharing that on a global level as well. So the three Sanskrit words that he talks about and that I'm speaking to this month come from the ancient Vedic texts. And last week I spoke about Siva, the idea that our actions harm no one and are benefit to everyone. And this week I'm going to be focusing on Cimarron, which is about remembering our true nature, remembering our purpose for being here, who we are. And then later in the month, I'm going to be talking about what it means to share peace. That's the Sat saying, the idea that we belong to a community of peace and wisdom. So with Cimarron, it's about remembering our true nature, our purpose for being here. And what is our purpose for being here? To love, to share, to experience oneness, to recognize that oneness, to know that we are truly one humanity. The world is having trouble seeing that right now, right? Race doesn't matter, religion doesn't matter, ethnicity, none of those things matter. We are one single humanity. And the idea of the Cimarron has that ability to bring us that awareness and that understanding of the expansive possibilities here on this planet. It's a reminder that we're not one single person lost in this sea of humanity. We're reminded that we're all in this together. We understand that the selfless service we perform is for a common good, and because we're shifting our self-image to that higher level. So we know who we are, and we recognize that, and we live from that. It helps us to possess that higher vision of humanity. We're more aware environmentally. We're more cognizant of human rights, more conscious of the incredible human potential. This is what that spirituality is all about. So the best thing that we can do for peace today is to encourage that within ourselves. We each and all have that impulse within us. So how do we respond to that impulse? Well, we choose differently if we don't like what we're doing, if we don't like what we're seeing, if we don't like the words coming out of our mouth. That's what peace is about. It's about making choices, choosing how we see life, choosing how we see life's conditions and life's circumstances. We all know the truth, that no matter how much we worry or we complain about what's happening, about what's going on, it isn't going to change because of our worrying or our complaining, right? Why stay there? Why focus on that? Because when we worry and when we complain, all that does is it makes us uncomfortable. And it adds to that negative energy that is just kind of out there right now anyway. It's important that we choose our emotions, and we choose those emotions with care, with conscious awareness. We want to decide how we want to feel and make choices based on that. That is taking a first step toward peace, making decisions based on what it is we want to experience, how we want to experience. A shift in our consciousness to live peace will permit a peace movement to succeed as long as we appreciate those small feats of progress every single day. All we need to do is value those little steps. That's all we're called to do, is take those small steps each and every single day, consciously. When we shift our attention from the external, what we see going on around us, we then can shift our awareness to that underlying reality of spirit, of God, of source, of all that is. What we can do as individuals to more consistently express our true nature of love, joy, beauty, and wisdom is to be consciously aware of our behaviors, consciously aware of our words and our actions. We can feel peace. We can experience the emotions of peace, those of compassion, understanding, love. I really love what Chopra wrote about this. He said, compassion is the feeling of shared suffering. When we feel someone else's suffering, understanding is born. Understanding is the knowledge that suffering is shared by everyone. When we understand that we aren't alone in our suffering, there is a birth of love. When there is love, there is opportunity for peace. I love how he tied all of that together and took it full circle. Think about the last time that you paid attention to a complete stranger. And I mean really paid attention. Did you have that realization that that person is no different than you? Have you ever experienced that when you've come across someone you don't know? Do you remember that they feel joy, that they feel sorrow, that they feel despair, hope, fear, and love, just like you do? Does it occur to you that this stranger may have people in their life who deeply care for and love him or her? Or maybe the opposite. Maybe they have people in their life that are angry and unhappy with them, which is going to create that unhappiness. And the truth is this person's peace is every bit as important as yours is. It adds to the whole. We all deserve that. Wonderful opportunity to live in peace is through random acts of kindness. Even the smallest, simplest acts can make a difference in someone's life in a big way. It's a great way to reach across boundaries, touch the life of another human being, and at the same time bring that sense of joy and optimism in their life as well as yours. At every step along the path of expanding our awareness, and that's what we're doing, right? By studying spirituality, is expanding our awareness, and there's always an opportunity for us to go deeper into that, to explore more of the potential of our divine humanness. And that's what kindness is all about. And acts of kindness are not at all difficult. It makes you feel good. It makes a difference in someone else's life at the same time. And it's a perfect way to live in that place of peace. To hold kindness and compassion in our hearts and then integrate that into our daily activities. And to share that with someone, whether we know them or not. And by the way, we do have pay it forward cards in the back that encourage you to share random acts of kindness. And please, by all means, take as many as you want. I can put some more out. Nancy and Patricia's group created them with the help of Tiffany. And it's a beautiful way to share. I read a really beautiful article about an act of kindness. It's a woman who carries $3 either on her person or in her vehicle. And she saves it for the first person who asks her, "Can you spare some change?" Or, "Do you have anything you can give?" Right? Anything that this person might say. And what she does is she smiles, maintains that eye contact with this person and responds like this. Sure, I'd love to. It's my pleasure. She then gives them the $3. And then she'll replace that $3 for the next time. $3 is a very small amount of money. However, it means a lot to the person who's expecting maybe a quarter, right? And it means a lot to a person when it is given so freely, and it's given from the heart, and it's given with respect and love and dignity. It isn't just the giving that she does that matters. The point of that story is that she sees all people as unique expressions of the divine. She doesn't find herself above them or below them. She finds them equal. Their life situation is what it is at the moment, and she recognizes and knows that's not who they truly are, not in reality. Because every person on this planet is no different than you or I. Not in truth. Another way that we can live the peace that we want to see and that we want to be in this world is to choose our words very consciously. Our thoughts, our words, our actions. What does that mean? It means that we want to refrain from complaining, from condemning, from criticizing. We want to find the positive in a situation. It is always there. Sometimes it might take a minute or two longer to find it, and it's always there. Or watch a baby girl smile and giggle at her mother, right? Tell somebody how much you appreciate them. That feels good coming from both sides. Make it a point to express gratitude for everything. Offer comforting, nourishing words to someone who needs them. I mean, let's face it, we all know how important that is. We've all had a time in our life where that's been really important to receive those words, those beautiful words from somebody. Help can take a lot of different forms. Be detached from the outcome, however, like that woman in the story. Just appreciate and see everyone for that divine human that they are. Just be kind for the simple joy of doing something for somebody else. Our real purpose here on this earth is to evolve and to grow, to discover who we are, to recognize our oneness with all of humanity. It's to transform our surroundings in keeping with who we truly are. Child of the all that is, of God, of that source of life. And right now as humanity, we are not doing such a good job of that. But we can change that. We can. We can further our purpose by staying consciously aware, not dwelling on stressful events. I'm not saying ignore that they exist. We just don't want to dwell on them. We can avoid being addicted to the bad news. We can learn to put fear in perspective. We want to realize that positive outcomes are always possible. I've heard this rumor that with God all things are possible, right? Be aware of your behavior. Be aware of your reactions when chaos begins to dominate how you're thinking. That happens to us a lot. So we want to stay centered, and whenever we're thrown off center, we want to move right back, right? We want to take the time to return there. So we want to find that healthy outlet for anger, for upset, for anxiety. And meditation's a great way to do that. Take 5 minutes. You know, I shared a short meditation with you last week. Take 5 minutes and just be that. We don't want that energy in our bodies, right? Because it does have an effect on us physically if we don't allow it out. So we do need to recognize it. We do need to express it. I think that's really, really important. So Chopra talks about some fundamentals of consciousness that can support us living in peace. He reminds us that awareness has depth, and that the deeper you go, the more reality will change. You have so much power and control over how your life unfolds and how you see the world. Your reality, he says, is dependent upon your state of consciousness. What lens are you looking through? And as your awareness goes deeper, it acquires more power. And that's because you're beginning to really recognize who you are. That you are this child of divine. That you are this godlike person. That you have that energy residing within you. And this power, he says, is what can change the world, both inside and out. There are no facts, he says, that cannot be influenced by awareness. I repeat, with God, all things are possible. And ultimately, your awareness creates everything you experience. Tiffany had sent me a really great article about this woman, and her name is Sherry Maples. She's a student of Thich Nhat Hanh and a former police officer. And this article talks about how a Buddhist outlook can help foster more positive relations between citizens and police. She said that when she returned from her first retreat with Thich Nhat Hanh, she couldn't understand why everybody seemed to have gotten so much kinder, including the people she was arresting. As within, so without, right? There is something to that. She said the most frequent question she was asked as a Buddhist cop was, how can you do that kind of work? And she brought that to Thich Nhat Hanh. And he asked her, who else would we want to carry a gun besides somebody who will do it mindfully? And that made perfect sense, didn't it? When you think about it. And she said once she was able to view her work through the lens of kindness and compassion, she rarely regretted any action that she had to take through her work. She said the gun and the badge became symbols of skillful means rather than symbols of authority and power. We can all come up with an idea and a way to be that peace, to have that respect for all divine beings. I think it's essential that we do. And the truth is, when challenges arise, like they have now, and like they are for the moment at least continuing, even a handful of people can make a huge difference. And Thich Nhat Hanh reminded us of that through that story of the boat people who fled Vietnam during the war. And those refugees, when they had no food and they had no water and they faced the threat of pirates, those individuals who remained calm made the difference between life and death for everybody. Any one of us can make a difference in a similar way as we move forward in the wake of the current world affairs. Any one of us can be that person who, rather than intensifying that violence, can transform it by the way we respond to it. And I believe that is by simply living that peace. Thank you for being here while I shared this truth as I understand it.